Hello, everybody, and welcome to Skip Allen Paints and the YouTube channel of Skip Allen. Well, you've heard it said that necessity is the mother of invention, and that has been very true for me today. Well, I didn't invent anything, but I figured out how to do something that has been eluding me, and it was all because I really needed to be able to do it. I had looked at how to do this same thing before, but I didn't really need to. Or I didn't really need to use it. And so I didn't pay enough attention. But now that I needed to do it, it made a big difference. Okay, so what am I talking about? I'm talking about Wacom's on-screen controls, which used to be called the radial menu. I thought that you would not be able to use the on-screen controls with multiple applications. But that's not the case, and I'll explain all that in a few minutes. But what I want to do first is for those people who are not familiar with Wacom's on-screen controls, which, like I said, used to be called the radial menu, let me just quickly give you an idea of what they are and what I use them for. What you see on screen right now is a work in progress. It's a watercolor I started this morning, and you see this clean UI that I'm working in. This is actually using a command that says hide UI. And what it does is it hides almost everything that you normally would see on screen. And I can do this because I have set my on-screen controls or radial menu up to open up almost any command that you can think of that's available to you in Painter. So I can open up my radial menu or on-screen controls by click with my stylus. And what you see, this is my settings, and you see all of these different commands here. And I've set them up like the menu system. In other words, file, edit, layers, brushes. If you come up here, you see file, edit. I've included canvas and layers together, brushes, and so forth. So that helps me know where the commands are. So if I wanted to, say, go back to the normal screen mode or seeing the UI, that's a Windows, under the Windows menu. So I would click Windows, I would go to Zoom, and then I would click on Show UI. And it would normally show. But notice that this is grayed out. That's because I'm not in Painter right now. It's on screen, but I was not actively in Painter. But when I click on it, it turns green. Then you see I'm actively in it. Okay, so now if I go to Windows, Zoom, Show UI, then the UI comes back the way that you normally see me work. So what I like to do is really keep everything fairly clean and simple. And if I need to open a new brush, if I have that brush on a custom palette, all I would have to do is go to Windows, Zoom, and Show Panels. And then here's my custom palette with my brushes. Or let's take that back off. I could maybe just simply go to recent brushes, pop that up and grab a recent brush. Now this seems like a lot of bouncing around, I'm sure, but it's really not. Once you get used to it, it's really pretty easy to do. It's just like learning the menu system up here and where to go. It's the same thing down here. What I like about it is that you can bring up the on-screen what did I call it? On-screen controls. I can't believe I forgot that. Or radial menu. You can bring it up to where your cursor is. And I'm working on a Cintiq, and I don't like having to move all the way across the Cintiq. It's a 24-inch Cintiq, so I'm moving pretty far to get across to the controls. And also, I'm going across the image. You know, I'm not working on a tablet where I'm moving over a blank area and looking at it on screen. I'm actually moving across the screen, and I find that distracting. So I like to work this way. Now, where are these things shown? Well, where do you work with your on-screen controls? I'm going to open up the Wacom tablet properties. And we're going to look here, and you'll see my art pen is set up with the stylus. You've got that rocker switch on the top of the stylus. At the bottom part of the rocker switch, I've got set up my settings. And what that means is, see, here's my settings. That's the panel that opens up. And I have that set up for the grip pen, my settings, or the art pen. Okay? Now, if I want to see the functions, I come over here to functions, and that's where we get to see express key, touch ring, display toggle, on-screen controls, and so forth. Now, here's where you normally would put in another application. So if I clicked on a plus here and I connect to Painter and say OK, now I've got Painter in there. And so any change that I make to the express keys, if Painter is the only thing highlighted, it would change for Painter only, just that application. The same thing for the touch ring or display toggle, and on-screen controls do not work that way. So with touchscreen or express keys, I can do it application specific, but on-screen controls, I cannot. Okay, that gives you the general gist of where I was going with this, and I'm going to stop the video here and then do another video where we'll talk about how we actually set this up so that I can use multiple applications. All right, see you in the next video. Bye-bye.